Injuries are a part of jiu-jitsu, but there are still a few things we can do to help minimize the injuries themselves or the possibility that they occur. And that is what we're going to talk about today. Minimizing and preventing injuries starts off the mat. So let's talk about a couple of things we can do when we're not training that will help us once we hit the academy. Number one, be hydrated. Hydrated muscles, hydrated ligaments, hydrated tendons. These are more pliable and more durable. So we want to have a good hydration. There's lots of studies that you can look into this yourselves. I'm not going to list any here. I've looked into it, and also just my felt sense of when I'm hydrated and I'm training versus when I'm not hydrated and I'm training. I think it goes beyond just water. I like to add electrolytes to at least one of my water bottles a day. And when I'm training, I like to have that water bottle with water and electrolytes so that in between rounds and I'm getting a sip, I get a little extra electrolytes as well. So number one, off the mats, stay hydrated. Number two, off of the mats, get your sleep. This might come as a surprise, but one of the main predictors of injury in athletic performance is the amount of sleep and the quality of sleep the athlete got the night before. If you are chronically underslept, your risk for injury exponentially expands. Getting your sleep is really important. Not just for athletes, but for hobbyists. If we're just a hobbyist, I'm a hobbyist. If I'm a hobbyist doing this because it makes me feel good, getting injured is going to get time off the mats. I'm not going to feel good about it. For some people who haven't been in the game very long, they get injured and we might never see them again. So we want to take care of that sleep, and that is a really big predictor of injury risk. So your number two thing to do off of the mats is to make sure you're getting good quality sleep. The day that you train, the day before you train, whatever it is, take care of your sleep. Let's talk about being on the mats. How do we prevent injuries once we're actually at the academy and we're training? Number one, tap early and tap often. No ego. Guys, don't let it happen to you. I've seen horrific injuries in the academy, not even in competition, just in the academy, simply because people didn't want to put the ego aside and tap. It doesn't matter who it is, somebody below you, somebody above you, who cares, man? It's just training. There's nothing on the line. So number one, tap early and tap often. Number two, it's okay to be choosy about your training partners. This is especially true if you are lighter in weight, older in age, and a woman. There's nothing wrong with being choosy about your training partners. As those Venn diagrams start to overlap more, you want to become more choosy. So for instance, I am 44 years old. I weigh 188 pounds. I'm very unlikely to go with the 250-pound competition purple belt or the 300-pound spazzy blue belt who hasn't learned how to be gentle with his weight just yet. I don't have ego about that. That would bother me in my younger years. It doesn't bother me anymore. I can simply say, hey man, not lifting weights today. You can make a fun joke about it. Guys, high-calorie grapplers know that they're high-calorie grapplers. Ladies, if you're rolling with somebody and that first time you roll, you get that vibe that they're not going to take care of you in the roll. They're going to roll with you the way they roll with the dudes. You don't have to roll with them ever again. There's other reasons you might not want to roll with somebody too, that, go into the realm of creepy. And if that's the case, you don't ever have to say yes to a roll. And you need to feel confident about that. All right, so we're tapping early and tapping often. We're being choosy about our training partners. Now, let's be smart about our rolling. What does it mean to be smart about your rolling? The more you fight positions for the sake of fighting positions, the more likely you are to get injured. Here's what I mean by that. If you are fighting every single position like your life depends on it in training, your likelihood of getting injured can can increase. So if you find yourself out of position, your arms are above your head or your legs extended in a funky way, you don't want to spaz out there. You want to be relaxed. You said, you know what? You got me in a place where I was biomechanically likely to get hurt, or I was biomechanically disadvantaged. Let it go, man. Who cares? You get to work your defense now. Good for you. No big deal. So be careful when you roll that you don't get extended to places that are outside of your range of motion, and fight from that disadvantaged position like your life depends on it. Just don't do that. It'll keep you safer. What else when we're in the academy? Hey, warm up. I know there's this meme out there that, purple belts don't warm up, but a lot of people don't warm up. It's not just the perps, okay? A lot of people don't show up for the warm up. I get it. It's boring. You don't want to run around in a circle. You don't want to maybe do squats. You don't want to do the hip escapes. You don't want to do the inversion drills. You don't want to do these things. They do help. I don't have any data on this. My felt sense is when I am sufficiently warm, I've gotten my heart rate and core temperature elevated just a little bit. I've moved through some movements that I'm going to use in jiu-jitsu without a partner. I am more effective once we start rolling and we really start training. So the warm-up, I think, really does matter. If nothing else, it puts you in a headspace of, hey, now it's time to be present and now it's time to train. So guys, stop skipping the warm-up. Sometimes it happens. We're late to class. We can't make it. But let's definitely try to get a good warm-up in, and your body will thank you for it later. And finally, let me leave you with this. Know when to call it a day. There's nothing wrong with calling your training a little bit short when something feels a little funky. Nothing wrong with that. You went in there, the plan was to roll for 5 rounds. Something started feeling funky at 3. Just not feeling on the game. You didn't sleep well. You're not as hydrated as you like. Your warm-up didn't go well. Maybe you showed up late. There's nothing wrong with cutting the training just a little bit short. Know when to take a little bit of time off. Know when to say, I've had enough, and if I conserve it today, I can train again tomorrow. We always want to train in a way that allows us to train tomorrow. We don't have to go out on our shield on a random Tuesday in January trying to show that we're big and bad. That is not what this is for. So know when to call it a day. Know when to take a day off. If you need one, you should take one. There's nothing wrong with that. Overtraining is a problem, and that's something we should keep an eye on as well. Those are a few ideas to help you stay as injury-free as possible in a contact sport like jiu-jitsu. Especially as we get older, we want to minimize time off of the mats that doesn't need to be there. So by staying injury-free, we can train at a consistent and predictable pace and cadence. So do the things you need to do to make sure that you stay healthy and strong, and you will be able to stay on the mats for a long time.